What is going on, everyone? My name is Boit, and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology, the Titans action, spawning in the left side of the map in the blue color, playing as Hades. His name is Kimo. His opponent today in the red color, playing as Odin. His name is Skady. The map is Tundra, and yes, an Odin versus Hades matchup. Love this on the open landscapes of Tundra. Now, I think that Hades has actually got a bit of an advantage in this matchup. I think that this matchup does not go the way the Poseidon Odin matchup or even the Zeus Odin matchup goes. I think Hades has got everything, all the tools he needs to get wins on this map. You can force fights because you know you have those Hades shades coming. The Hades shades help counter the throwing axemen quite a bit because they're kind of tanky and they don't take any bonus damage. And then also the sheer fact that your buildings are superhuman buildings. The architecture of Hades civilization is very, very good. And they take a lot longer to get killed than everything else because they've got more HP. And so therefore you live the dream where that is happening, where that occurs, when that is a thing. Yes, good. So we've got the scouting happening already here from Kimo. We'll see what he wants to do. He's going to probably leave this hunt here in the back of his base, which isn't actually a bad idea. He can move forward and eat this. You do have until around about the 7-minute mark before your opponent or before the Hades, the Odin player is going to start actually hitting significant raids on you. So if he comes around here and gets these elk, this auroch straight away, and then comes back in onto, okay, he's going to eat this. I get, fine. I think that maybe not eating this is a really smart idea in this matchup because it means that when the raids happen, you're going to be nice and safe. But it doesn't matter. He's going to get it anyways, and we'll see how the game's going to go from there. Skady, on the other hand, Odin in this matchup, what are the win conditions? A win condition is pretty much hitting a very strong tier timing push, getting value out of your frost and not dying and not actually forcing fights in the classical age. There's some like playstyle issues in this matchup where the Hades player, where the Odin player just really likes playing super aggressively. So you see this from Soup, for example, where he just really likes playing aggressively in the classical age. But against Hades, this style doesn't work at all because it plays into Hades's tool pelt because of the Hades shades. So you have to play around that a little bit. Make sure when you take your fights, you're taking really strong fights. But Skady still chopping down his wood. He's got some dwarves over here. He's going to get his ox cart out a little bit later. It's debatable as to whether or not chopping this wood down is good or not without the ox cart. I think that in this situation, I would have just chopped all the wood down that he needed earlier. He's currently got his ox cart out, and it's a little bit early if you ask me, but he's going to be fine. And I'm going to complain about people not chopping their wood down straight away at the start of the game until the cows come home here. One of the biggest advantages of Norse is the fact that you have a moving storehouse. Such that if you have a moving storehouse, that means you can get all of that value early game that your opponents cannot get. Moving villages around very, very easily. Okay, so houses up. Temple in the middle of the map here for Skady. As we see the early Ajax coming out for Kimo. A bit surprised to see that. Not sure exactly what his plan is here unless the relics are really good. There's a Black Lotus. Black Lotus is a decent relic. Always like seeing that one. And we also have a Pandora's box over here. Skady's going to be going through Freya. No surprises there. I actually don't think that Heimdall is that bad in this matchup. The idea being that you want to use your kind of 7-minute-ish to 10-minute-ish advantage on the map to just spam walls everywhere. Though maybe without the Valkyrie, you don't find that that advantage. So Freya's got a choice, and I imagine Kimo's going to go through Athena. I don't think that Ares is a bad idea here either for the Hades. In fact, I think that if your opponent's got an exposed gold mine, which Skady doesn't have here, but if he does have a forward gold mine at the very least, not even exposed, then going for like a 4-minute advance time with Ares can be very, very strong. But a couple of Ulsa coming in here. We'll see if Skady tries to get some sneaky shenanigans going on. No, he just casts Forest Fire. The villagers get pulled off, and it's looking like Kimo's going for a far second town center here. Which I'm not sure if I'm not sure if it's actually a good idea or not, but again, we see. This is an interesting choice from Kimo. This is a very exposed wood line, not close to a tower, and he's already got his storehouse over here. He could have gone to this wood line as well. So this is going to be able to be harassed. We see the Raven, excuse me, not the Valkyrie, the Raven here. The Valkyrie will be coming down immediately, I assume, to start poking and prodding. We see the 3 longhouses up now for Skady, as he's going to be getting going, making some raiding cavalry. And everything else here. A little bit of idle time on his villages, but he's going to sort that out very shortly. And he's leaving villages on wood, which basically means he's probably going to be making throwing axemen. And we do see the military academy coming down immediately by Kimo as the Valkyrie sits in the back. And now, where to for Kimo is the big question. Is he going for a fast heroic? Some sort of weird fast heroic? This is such a strange build. Double military academy. Man, I can't explain this at all from Kimo. We'll see what his plan is here. He's got a lot of villages currently on gold. He's got a lot of gold in the bank. The raid's going to come in, start pushing these villages off of this exposed wood line, like I said, would basically happen. And there's not really an easy way to defend here. We do have the sentinels in. There is this straggler tree, which gives it a little bit easier time to defend or continue gathering wood from this location. But Kimo is playing with fire here as Skady is retreating back. Kimo's at 34 or 35 pop. Skady is at 61 of 75 population here, ladies and gentlemen. We see the archery range coming down as well, as whatever Kimo was planning has definitely gone out the window right now. Starting his hoplite production, super far behind, and being able to catch up here is going to be very, very difficult. Not only that, he's currently eating his herdables. Does he have husbandry? He does have husbandry, so that's good. But he's eating his herdables, and it's going to be a very tough time for him here to continue with the production that he wants to. He's making these archery ranges as well. And Skady is just going to be searching around the map, making sure there are no villages on any of these resources here. I see a little cheeky raid now coming onto this wood line over here. There's not too many villages on the wood line, but one Minotaur being here might be able to get distracted by the Valkyrie. So if you see this Minotaur, send the Valkyrie over to hit the Minotaur, and then the raiding cavalry can kill these villagers. And we are going to be seeing this villager get stuck here. So first blood going to be drawn. Nice play from Skady to get in there. And we do see the delayed second town center that Kimo wanted. He's grabbed it. He's on that town center. The Raven is flying overhead, and unfortunately, for some reason, Skady is pulled all the way back, and this town center is going to shoot up very, very fast here. It's going to be very, very quick, and we're going to see it's going to be actually really helpful for him to continue here. Because if he has the double town center, he's got that that boost of the farm gather rate, means he can stay in the classical age much, much longer. Having access to Black Lotus, it really, really helps the kind of classical age, getting stuck in the classical age situation out quite a lot. Because your food income is not hindered as much as you might think. Well, archery range getting targeted down now. Throwing axemen are wandering in here trying to say good day, but the hoplites just pull back. Foxodies pull back as well from Kimo. And now the Minotaur of Kimo looks to be pushing forward as the sentry towers getting taken down. We see another archery range coming back up. Skady is potentially going to be able to get some form of a gold staff here. Kimo does have a lot of resources in the bank in terms of gold, but he doesn't have a lot of units out. 55 units or population to Skady's 108 population. The amount of army that Skady has managed to produce here in this game is wild. He has gotten going very, very quickly here. So military academy getting taken down, but Hades buildings staying afloat for quite a while, and now Kimo has to farm here. He absolutely has to farm. Does he have plow? Is it coming through? No, it's not. He probably can't even afford to get that, to be honest, because he needs to get as much gold as he possibly can here to defend. But Skady, he's maybe overestimating how much Kimo actually has. The town center is here, yes, but the sentinel is here, yes, but you can sit underneath here and just continue to fight and sit on these farms, and the game would be over. I don't think the units will die that quickly. You can pick off enemy units faster than they can respawn. You have to treat it similar to the situation of when you're fighting your opponent's army underneath the dock fire. You can just walk in and kill their units, or kill their trireme under dock fire if you have more than them. And that's a similar position that he's in right now. But he's just going to continue taking down military buildings. Kimo's 9 villages right now, popping up these houses. A little bit of an idle situation here. As another military academy slowly but surely goes down. Skady's probably thinking about, my golly gosh, Skady is thinking about going to the mythic, to the heroic age now. Super quick, perfect macro here from Skady. Only thing I would have liked to see is maybe less villages on wood once he got closer to the 800 food mark, or the 115 population mark, and then just advance. He's got his armory up. He's going to go up. I would go through Njord here. This is a 110% a Njord situation, and it's hard to tell most of the time, but getting Njord and killing this town center off would shut down all these farms and all of the food economy from Kimo. No way for him to really defend that. But he's decided to go Skady, and Skady's an option as well. There's a big restoration coming down, and that's going to be that. But yeah, I could just imagine and also a hill fort gets slapped down onto this wood line here, onto the town center. Absolutely disgusting. But not the option here from Skady. Skady might pull back and get a town center here, which I think is okay, but I don't know. Kimo's somehow managing to get this gold mine. I think Skady is definitely overestimating what Kimo's got. Playing a little bit cautious, a little bit too cautious, to be honest. But he can walk in and frost this. This is 10 villagers, plus the army will all get picked off. And I imagine that's exactly what he's going to do here. Frost this. There it is. Big frost. 10 idle villages. Hill fort goes up. And the army is going to start attacking. There is still the town center and the sentinel getting some damage done. But with the hill fort on this location, it's going to be absolutely brutal. A couple of villages over here on the bottom side of the map. As a couple of villages sneaking up onto this gold mine. We'll see if Skady notices it. If we check this out, the blue dots do sneak by. So it's going to be on this gold mine, potentially going unnoticed by Skady. And now with the hill fort here, it's going to be very hard to defend, and we do see a whole bunch of villagers making their way over here. Skady's still not paying attention there. He hasn't sent the raiding cavalry over there just yet, and this is going to be big for Kimo to get some more units rolling. But Kimo's 89 of 130 population here, as the damage has seriously been done to Kimo as the frost just about to finish. A couple more villagers will fall as this game continues. A couple of raiding cavalry moving over onto this position. The villagers pulling away from those Aurochs there, as I'm sure we will start to see some of those Huskal coming out. And honestly, the mythic age of Skady is not too far away here. Frost Giant. Yes. And now the raiding cavalry making their way over here, trying to take the storehouse down for some reason. Not 100% sure what is happening there. A whole bunch of units of Kimo coming in, as we see the raiding cavalry trying to hit a couple of these Toxotes. And as this happens, we see all of Skady's forces making their way over here. Still only 115 pop for Skady. Kimo, on the other hand, is 94 population, so he is starting to catch up. We've even got the Hades Shade in, but with heavy throwing axemen now in, this is a scary amount of tech. The villagers are going to make a dart for it now, but raiding cavalry are in. They do not have thundering hooves, but it doesn't matter. They are speedy enough. And the army of Kimo is going to get building blocked here, making these longhouses pop up. You can get another building block here, but he's not quick enough. The villagers still falling as Kimo is trying to snipe down a couple of these throwing axemen and retreat away. Nice play there. And we do see the villagers. They did manage to push in and take down the hill fort. And the naked hill fort is not good enough there to defend against those villagers. A nice play there from Kimo. He's back on gold yet again. 108 of 130 population. Skady now is getting his second town center. I think one town center to the Mythic Age here is better. Getting that tier in would be huge. And then also getting access to the super strong Huskal with bravery as well, or even start going into Fenris Wolves would be absolutely huge. See the army pulling back here as the throwing axemen moving in to take them down nice and quickly. See another hill fort getting thrown up over here. I would like to see some walls on this bottom side of the map, but not happening just yet. The army of Skady getting pushed back. The villagers get pulled off the gold mine, going to try and snipe down this hill fort. Skady wants it up for those Huskal, but Kimo says no, as the throwing axeman getting a little bit of damage done to the villagers, picking them off slowly. See the frost giant coming back in. One of these Huskal getting max damage done onto the Toxotes, but will get picked off. And in the end, the hill fort has been denied yet again. Nice play. And now the villagers are going to be tanking these throwing axemen as well as the Hades Shades. And Skady's forces are slowly dwindling here. Kimo, 95 of 130 population, somehow, some way, managing to stay alive in this game here. He has a whole bunch of upgrades as well. The gold mine is 600 gold remaining, and Skady has to pull back. He probably could turn and fight this at this point, but he's just a little bit worried about his resource situation, trying to spam out as many of those units as he possibly can. And Kimo pulls back after the army decides to threaten turning around, and we are going to be seeing an attempt at going up this top gold mine right now from Kimo. Look at all the farms. Look at these beautiful farm placement from Kimo. Absolute delight. Though these farms here need a granary, you don't, just because it's close to the town center, it's worth it to put these villages over here and build farms here as an idea. And we see the army of Skady returning back in onto this position here. Going to attack down a couple of villages yet again. Kimo still has the villager advantage though, because he's been on multiple town centers. But now that Skady's on 2 town centers, he will start to catch up, and maybe if not catch up, take over the lead in that count because of all the pressure he's putting on. We still don't see that hill fort up. That dastardly hill fort, so important. And if you still keep fighting this, like even if he has Thunder, the axe thing, Huntress axe, it's still kind of difficult for him to win these fights. But Skady is taking them nicely. Look at that Hades shit. The Hades shit just tank for days, whereas the hoplites die immediately. That's the big difference. And even the the Toxotes die immediately as well. Skady's 108 pop. Kimo's 110 pop. Still very, very close. More military buildings coming down for Kimo. The heroes coming out as well to start tanking the axe fire, I guess, as well. But it's seemingly looking like Skady has to pull back yet again. Kimo somehow, some way manages to defend in this game. Scores still very, very even. Skady going to be running out of hunt fairly soon. I think he's on berries here. He does have at the top a couple of caribou. He probably even has an auroch up here as well somewhere. No auroch. No aurochs, but he does have caribou over here and everywhere. Skady's spending all of his resources trying to continue to play in this game. He does have himself heavy raiders trying to get the forward town center. I think this is a bit of a mistake, to be honest, because even if he gets it up, like, he still can't really fight his opponent. We are going to be seeing Kimo make a very aggressive move forward to try and deny this one. The throwing axemen get pulled off, going to be taking these hoplites down very, very quickly. Toxotes getting some damage done. Meanwhile, throwing axemen going to continue getting this town center up as the army coming back in from Kimo. Skady, on the other hand, trying to micro around. We see the villager Ragnarok coming in. Will it be fast enough? Yes, it will. Just barely going to start shaking this all down. And these Toxotes doing absolute work in these fights. Nice attempted micro there from Skady, but in the end of the day, a whole bunch of military units not fighting, and Kimo is going to be taking this fight with the advantage. Nice play, brilliant decision making there to pull the villagers to deny that town center, and now Kimo can even think about taking it for himself because the villagers are simply here. Wouldn't be that bad of an idea. And honestly, the big problem right now for Skady is just still no hill fort. Losing that hill fort on the front, not getting the second one up is absolutely devastating for Skady in this game. So we'll see if he's going to realize how important it is to get those Huskal out. He could also be getting out some of those Beautiful, beautiful frost giants, but he's not doing that. He doesn't have his market up just yet. Is he building one? No, he is not. He could think about going Balder here because Kimo's still in the classical age, but I imagine Kimo's going to be clicking up right now anyway, so he's going through Apollos. Best bet is to go through tier here. So we see the raiding cavalry coming back, going to be spotting these villagers getting this up. We see the throwing axemen coming through for Skady to grab this town center here. And we'll see where the raiders are going to go. We see a cheeky wall get thrown up here by Kimo to deny the raiding cavalry from getting in here. Nice play there. And he will spot there is a low HP wooden wall here, so he will be able to sneak in here and cause just a little bit of chaos. But the hoplites are already back, so no real problems there. Now, is Skady going Mythic Age? Not just yet. No, he's still got like villagers moving halfway across the map for whatever reason. There's the market. He can sell wood, which he's going to do, buy food, advance, and which god is he going through? He's going through Balder. He's going through Balder, and honestly, Kimo is so set up right now. His economy is huge. He's going to be in the heroic age. He's going to be able to get himself straight into those heavy infantry units and also heavy archers, get himself fortified town centers immediately as well, and then also think about getting masons. This is going to be difficult here for Balder to really deal the damage it needs to do, but we'll see him give it a try at nearly 30% up. We are seeing this raiding cavalry still getting value, attempting to get value. The town center is up. We don't see any attempt at making those very, very necessary ox caravans. Whenever you Ragnarok, you have to decide whether or not it is an all-in Ragnarok, and for the most part, your answer is, I need some sort of small backup plan. Build me a couple of ox carts or ox caravans, and at least then I'll have a little bit of gold income for if things fizzle out. But he hasn't done that here just yet. Still going after villagers here. We see the Achilles getting taken out. A whole bunch of buildings just getting spammed up by Kimo here. The hoplites over here pushing back, doing their thing. And we do see a hill fort up now by Skady. Finally, and Artemis coming in. Huge underworld. Is it a huge underworld? And underworld coming in. He doesn't have any siege to take this town center down. This is, I mean, I always hate the raiding underworlds. I used to think they were okay, but for the most part, if you don't want to do that. You just want to wait and hit like some kind of attack with it later. But I guess he just feels like Kimo feels that Balder is incoming and he's got to have some way to defend against that. And do we see a cancel of Artemis? Yes, we do. And then we're going to see medium or heavy infantry, heavy archers, masons, fortified town centers is already in. The Ragnarok gets clicked here by Skady. The reaction from Kimo here is so good. Noticing what to do and not go to the Mythic Age is very, very smart here. We do see this Achilles going to come in, try and take down the fire giant. Might be a little bit too slow here because the Achilles is going to get taken out before the fire giant dies. We do see some villagers very sneakily getting onto this gold mine. This is genius here from Kimo. There's no way that Skady thinks to check that location there. But I think in the end of the day here, this first town center is probably going to fall. As we see over here, the units getting caught out. How are the armory upgrades looking? No pierce armor for Skady. That's a big, big miss in terms of the necessary upgrades you need to attack an opponent with Ragnarok, because this just means the towers, Odis, going to be able to do a whole bunch more damage than they really should be doing here. You can see the Manticore getting taken down as Skady is attempting to push through this, but still masons and fortified town centers is in. Kimo's took tons of resources in the bank. He's no longer making any of those he's making Toxotes from a couple of his military buildings. Surprised to see not all of them being made, but it is what it is. And then Achilles does get taken down there. Boom, smack. Dead villagers here. Nice play from Skady to spot those, but he's still forgetting about potential other spots and this spot here. And Kimo's dropping down quite a lot. He needs to not be fighting one unit at a time here. This gives Skady a lot of value. So instead, into each of these buildings, these units shall go, and then as soon as you get your full population, then you just use your ungarrison hotkey and they all pop out, and then you can take the fight. And we do see this lone hero of Ragnarok has spotted these villagers gathering gold and will indeed take them out. A couple more coming through to pick them off. And the town center will fall, and now Kimo returning with a couple more units in the back. Those heavy units, very, very scary here. Kimo's 123 pop. Skady is 145 population here. After the town center does fall, we do see the villagers still coming down over here as Kimo decides got to come over here and snipe off a couple of these heroes of Ragnarok. But in that moment, Skady decides to retreat away. And the underworld passage is dealt with, so these units are very much out of position as we're starting to see some villagers getting produced here. We do have an ox guard over here that could come over here and jump onto that food situation, but obviously Skady focusing a lot onto his army at this point, trying to deal with this heavy hipaspist shenaniganry. Shenaniganry? I don't know what I'm trying to say, but he has to retreat back at this time. As the heavy hipaspist wandering in. And military academy does get taken down. The heavy raiders pushing in to take these guys down, and they're going to get back. We do see these villagers making their way up to the top corner of the map, but Skady says yet again, no, get off that. No more gold for you. He is still mining gold over here. He's trying to get some gold mine, income on this location here. As the fight is still ensuing, Skady still producing units and villages. He's still staying at his 145 of 145 population. Kimo now 139 of 140, dropping very quickly here, still with lots of resources in the bank, and he still is getting those Hades shades out as well. So he's able to hold nicely. Meanwhile, a couple of units over onto this gold mine have pushed them off. These villagers have been pushed off as well, and Kimo returning back with this handful of units here, looking as if he has managed to hold, but he doesn't have many villagers left at all. But he is continuously building these villages, like 26 still on farms. He has a whole bunch of idols, 18 villages idle actually. So we'll see how it's going to go as Skady, he needs to get his economy going here, because at this point his rag has fizzled out. He is getting a couple of villages out over here. He does have the farms here. Does he have himself winter harvest? No, he doesn't. So his food economy is going to be very, very slow here. Though he has a whole bunch of villages queued up. I don't know if this is 500 resources or not, or just auto-queued. I think it is just auto-queued at this point. So yeah, he's got 0 coming out at this point. So now we have Kimo's picked off that longhouse. He's going to be holding this position as best as he can. Those Hades shades and everything else. Raiding cavalry sneaking in behind. Going to try and take down these units, or at least tank for a little bit, as Kimo is distracting as much as he possibly can. These stray units over here going to get taken down, and Kimo also has a little bit of gold on this gold mine, still 600 gold, so he makes a big ring around the rosy here, distracting the units until the rest of his army gets here. And now Kimo is going to be taking this fight. And he does block over on this position very, very nicely. But as that's happening, the throwing axemen going to town on those infantry units. Meanwhile, raiding cavalry distracting very, very nicely there as well onto those heavy hipaspis. We see a tower getting thrown up by Kimo. He does have guard towers here, and these throwing axemen are getting dealt with. We even see an attempted micro here from the Achilles. Nice play from Kimo to try and dodge those throwing axes, but in that end of the day, Skady's down to 63 population. His economy is very, very weak, and he's not able to take this game. Kimo does manage to defend the Ragnarok. He is one of the best defenders in the game, and as such, I do think you should probably consider going tier here. I think there is no reason to not go tier over Baldur. I feel like the game was fairly equal, so a Fimbulwinter would have really hurt all of the food economy of Kimo. But I'll tell you what, this game, somehow, some way, Kimo managed to pull it out. He was gold starred. He had a hill fort on his home gold mine. He had a whole bunch of units over here on this gold mine. But the boosted farms from a Black Lotus came in absolutely clutch in this game. With that is, like, the food economy of Kimo was absolutely dastardly good. And if we check this food total out, you see it's so good. And it just, well, I think food total is probably the one. But it's the resources are so close here for the entirety of the game. And there was this period where Skady was pulling ahead, but he just couldn't put the nail in the coffin here in this game. I really would have liked to have seen Njord. I feel like Njord, forward temple, you delete this temple back here, you get your free mountain giant straight onto this town center, you get those walking woods trees to push in, and there's no real way for Kimo to have held in that position. But Skady went for the safe route and did not work out in this game. Maybe not so safe after all. If you guys enjoyed this game, please consider hitting the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTube, hit that subscribe button. I'll see you guys in the next game.